feel pretty good as I move into my new office. I just accepted a director level role at a financial planning firm that comes with a big salary, opportunities to expand my network, potential ownership stake in the firm, and I'm unpacking and I'm pausing to reflect on how far I've come. In college, I was dirt poor, and I happened upon a book about careers in finance. I was a teller, a bank teller at the time, and I thought this money thing was where I wanted to pursue. So I'm looking through this book, and it has many different industries, all the way from insurance to investing to banking to commercial lending, investment banking, all kinds of things. There was one job in here that really spoke to me, and it was called portfolio manager. Now, I had no idea what that was. I had no idea what a portfolio meant. But it spoke to me because it had the highest salary expectation of all the other careers in the book. So I set out to become a portfolio manager. And part of that was studying for and achieving a Chartered Financial Analyst or CFA designation. So I did that. And since pursuing that CFA designation, I've received many other designations. I got into the investment industry. I started working in what we might call gopher work and moved my way up to vice president, and now I find myself in this director level role. It's a total 180 from where I come from. I should be happy, but I'm miserable. I'm miserable because my life sucks. This new fancy job that anybody would kill for, a lot of people would kill for, comes with a micromanager. It comes with the expectation of working evenings. It comes with the expectation of working weekends and weekend evenings. It has few vacation days, and it's just a dark, toxic atmosphere. What that means to me is that my values, my top values of autonomy and creativity and adventure, are not going to be satisfied and never can be satisfied. I never stop to ask myself, how much is this job going to cost me? Find out more right after this. Hey, it's Derek Hagan. I'm a certified financial therapist professional and certified financial behavior specialist, here with another Money Health presentation where we're going to talk about how much your job costs. Let's take a look at what are all the aspects of a healthy life. Most people are identified with work. Most people are thinking of themselves as their profession, as their career. This is who I am. And if they're not totally identified, it's such a huge part of their life. But in fact, yes, work is part of a healthy life because you need to survive, you need money. Money are the 21st century survival skills, but there's all this other stuff besides work that's also important. And we need to consider all of those aspects of our life. So when it comes to how much does your job cost, well, it's easy to think that you know how much it costs. Right? We trade our time for money. That's what we think. I trade my time, I get some money. And that's true even if you're not an hourly person. If I'm salaried, I usually have to work 40 or 50 or something hours per week in exchange for some money and some other benefits. Right? Time, that's the easy part of the iceberg to see. But it's even deeper than that. You're probably even spending more time than this. Because if you're paid for working an 8-hour day, but you spend an hour in the morning commuting and another hour in the evening commuting, that's 2 extra hours per day. That's a 10-hour day. But that doesn't increase your pay. Right? So you're getting paid for working 8 hours, but it costs you 10 hours. Right? That's an extra 10 hours per week just in commuting. And the same is true if there's an expectation of answering emails at night, doing projects on the weekend. All that adds to the amount of time that you have to give in order to get this paycheck. Okay, so it's not always just about time and hours and dollars either. There's emotional components. There's lifestyle components to this. For example, maybe you can calculate your net pay because they pay you, sure. But if you're using some of that money to just have the job, commuting is just your time, but commuting also comes with gas. You have to spend gas or public transportation to get to and from work. You have to probably buy work clothes that if you didn't have this job, you wouldn't buy these clothes. And if you're in some kind of a status position, there might be an expectation of buying a certain level of clothes, a certain style of clothes. Maybe there's a certain kind of car that you're supposed to have. Or maybe there's some expectation of a lifestyle, a place where you're supposed to live. All of those are a cost of your job. And still, that's even about the money. If you go a little bit deeper, does this job take you away from things that you highly value? Does it take you away from, like me, hiking trips and camping trips? Does it take you away from family time? Does it take you away from the hobbies that you'd like to perform? When you come home, are you stressed all the time? Do you dread going into work? Do you lose your autonomy? All of these things suck the life out of you. And that life that gets sucked out of you, that's a cost of your job. So what does your job cost? Because if we don't think about this, then you end up like me. You got your money, and you're using it in ways and making it in ways that's through the lens of other people's values, and you're going to end up with regrets. You end up doing something that you think you're supposed to do, simply because it's some American dream or something like that. Now, all of these beliefs that we have about money are driven by something called money scripts. Our money scripts are deep-rooted financial beliefs that we have, little rules that we follow about money subconsciously. We piece them together, we learn them in childhood, and we act on them as if they were pure truth. Now, sometimes we're right. Sometimes our beliefs are true. Sometimes there is no truth. There's just opinions and values, and everybody's got their own right to their own opinions. So we'll kind of call that truth as well. But sometimes our beliefs are outside of the truth, in which case we're operating on faulty assumptions. Or sometimes it's a partial truth. It's sometimes true. It's contextual. In this context, it works. In that context, it doesn't. So what stories are you telling yourself about work? Is there a story about a particular profession that you're supposed to have? Are you supposed to work to a certain age? Are you supposed to make a certain level of income? Are you supposed to have a certain size house, a certain kind of car? What stories are you telling yourself? And are those even true? Because once you do that, you can start to break from this idea that money's a goal. If you've ever said to yourself, as soon as I get some amount of dollars, I can finally retire, or if my savings generate a certain amount of money each year, then I can finally retire, or leave this job that I don't like, or I want to hurry up and get financially independent by age 40 or something. That's not helpful at all. That's using money as a goal, but money is in fact a tool. Using money as a tool in those first three examples, it's like saying that my only goal in life is to hurry up and get the biggest toolbox that I can. Or I want the best tools that I can use. Or I want the very best hammer. That's worthless. What do you want those tools for? What do you want that hammer for? What does your money need to do for you? It's an important question. Now, I want you to live a life that you'll be happy to look back on. A regret-free life. The top regret people have on their deathbed is that they were not true to themselves. They didn't live a life that was in alignment with their values. The second top regret people have is that they worked too hard. And another top regret is that they didn't allow themselves to be happy. So being intentional about this and designing a life that you'll be happy to look back on, right? You can't be happy if you're full of regret. And if you can design that life where you've got few regrets, then you get to say to yourself, I would do it all over again if I could. Nothing I would change. But how many people on their deathbed, you might even know some, who look back and say, God, I worked too hard. It felt like a good time, a good idea at the time. I would never work that hard again if I did it over. I wasn't true to myself. I was kind of doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing. Okay, don't live a life full of regrets. Live a life that's in alignment with your values. Allow yourself to be happy. And designing this life includes work, but work can't be the only piece. How much does your paycheck cost? You only have one life. Live intentionally.